So I was born and raised into a family that didn't really acknowledge God much at all. I definitely wouldn't call my family a Christian family. And my whole life I believed that God and faith were something that you could shrink down and put into a box and tuck it in a corner and label it religion, and that it was just a small, insignificant piece of who I was. I thought this box was something that I could pull out and open up on the occasional Sundays when I went to service. And I would pull it out on days that, I went to service and I didn't have anything holding me back. So no plans, when I had a full night's sleep, when I had absolutely no excuse that I could come up with to keep me out of a church. About 2 years ago, I attended the summit, and it was the first time that I had taken that first initial step of faith to come out to an unknown church building with unknown people, to truly see and experience God really for the first time. And I was terrified. It was people who I didn't know, so many unfamiliar faces coming up to me and welcoming me. I was overwhelmed by the amount of love that I experienced in the first 5 minutes of walking through the doors. I was dealing with severe anxiety. I was having multiple panic attacks every day, and my anxiety tried to hold me back. And as I continued to come on Thursday nights to the summit, as I continued to make it a more regular thing in my life, I realized that this was a real place with real people my age. And it showed me that God is not something that you can size down and fit in a box and call it religion and take out only on Sundays. God wants so much more for all of our lives. It was a place that faith and God were one thing that sat at the center of their lives and was something that they lived through every day. It was not just on Sundays when they had no excuses to stay away. It wasn't long after I realized all of that I gave my life over, that I surrendered everything over to God. I realized that the thing I needed most in my life, the thing I couldn't find in work or school or somebody else, the thing that I couldn't find even some days in myself in the loneliest of days, I needed God. I was depressed, and I was constantly worrying about my future, about what job I would do and where I would go and the type of person I wanted to be. And on top of all of that, I had just gotten out of a very serious 4-year relationship with somebody who I centered my entire life around. I centered my future around, I centered my identity around, I centered every new experience around, my emotions, everything. That person sat at the center of my life during that time. In the midst of all of this negativity and anxiety and heartbreak, I felt that I was at the lowest point in my life. I felt that I had truly hit rock bottom. When I was at rock bottom, I realized that there was only one way for me to go, and that was up. And in those moments, I surrendered everything over to God. I surrendered over my anxiety. I gave God everything. I gave him my heartbreak. I gave him everything that I felt. I prayed to God and I just said, I can't do this on my own anymore. I can't bear this pain on my own anymore. I can't become handicapped by this anxiety one more day. And I just asked for his strength. And I asked God to just have his way in my life. I didn't know what that meant, and I didn't know where that would take me. But I knew that at rock bottom, the only way was up. But little did I know that God was going to raise me higher than I ever thought was imaginable. God gave me a shelter to run to, and an amazing, loving, and supportive church family to lean on in times of difficulty. And faith is no longer a piece of who I am that I pull out on Sundays. But faith is the center of who I am. It is all of who I am. Renewed, and through faith, I can truly be the person that I've always dreamed of me being. I suffered from anxiety since I was a child. And to this day, I am proud to say that since surrendering my life over to God, he has healed me in more ways than imaginable. I no longer suffer from giving God control over my life, because I know He's a God who loves me. He is a God who has plans to prosper me and grow me in more ways than I can imagine. The God who continues to hold me and grow me in His love every day.